Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today I want to talk about jamming for beginners. Playing with another musician is one of the things that can progress your playing faster than almost anything else. So it's definitely something I'd recommend you get into as soon as possible. It's something that I get asked about all the time, so I want to give you as many tips in this video as I can to help you make a smooth start into this exciting part of your journey. So the first question that usually comes up is, how do you find somebody to have a jam with? Well, it's a very good question. Of course, it depends a lot on your circumstances. If you're at school, it would be asking around at school. Ask your friends, ask your friends of friends, ask anyone you know, ask your teacher. Does anyone know somebody who plays guitar that might be up for having a play? Once you get a name for them, you just go and say, hey, I play guitar, I hear you do too. Do you fancy getting together on a Tuesday night and seeing if we can play a song or something? That's it. Now, if you're an adult, it's going to be work first, I guess, like asking around at work, does anyone know anyone who plays guitar? See if they can coax their friends of friends, really expand the circle to try and find somebody that's connected there. Might be your family, ask your cousins, ask your sisters and brothers, who do they know? Anyone know anyone that plays guitar? Please help me. If you can't find that, you got the next option along, which I've done a few times, is asking in a music store. So just putting a little postcard in a music store saying, hey, beginner knows basic chords, wants to look for another, wants to find another guitar player to have a jam with every few weeks and maybe play some songs. And if things go great, then maybe we'll play an open mic one day or something, just like, it doesn't have to be something that you worry about too much, okay? They're going to ring you up and they're going to, hey, hi, how you doing? Oh, what do you play? Oh, I did this. Oh, I've learned this way. These are songs I know. Do you fancy having a play? What date? And then decide on where you're going to meet up. Of course, there's kind of, these days, it's something that you want to think about, who you're inviting to your home and all of that sort of stuff. So it might be that you meet for a beer or a coffee or something first before you go to each other's houses. But again, that's up to your circumstance and how confident you feel and where you live and all of those. There's lots of variables here that I can't help you out with, that you're just going to have to try and figure out. The other option is to use a thing like the forum. I've got a forum on my site where lots of people do online collaborations and online jamming. It is a little bit difficult to jam via, Google Meet or Zoom or Skype or whatever it is that you use, just because there's a thing called latency, a slight delay between what I play and the person hearing it. So jamming and playing together can be a little bit difficult there, but it can be good for collaboration, say for recording a song or working together in another way. But for the direct one-on-one jamming, it is better to try and find someone. The forum has made a load of connections where people have said, hey, I'm in Toronto and I'm a beginner and I'm looking for somebody to have a play with. And they go, oh, I'm in Toronto too. And then you can kind of get to know each other a little bit through the forum. So that's definitely somewhere to check out if you haven't been. JustinGuitarCommunity.com. Amazing community over there of people, really supportive community where lots of people are playing and sharing their songs and sharing their covers and giving each other critique and meeting up. Really good place that you might want to start your journey. But of course, there are many guitar forums around that you might want to check out as well, and or just asking on Facebook. Go on the Justin Guitar Facebook group. It says Justin keeps raving about playing with other people. Anyone here from Arkansas fancy having a play or whatever. Just do whatever you can to see if you can find somebody to have a play with. Hello, Ziggy. Do you fancy having a jam today? No? Okay. So once you've found somebody that you want to have a play with, the next really important thing is deciding what you're going to play in advance. A really bad idea is to just meet up with somebody that you're going to have a jam with and have no idea about what it is that you're going to do. That's kind of a recipe for disaster, that. So as soon as you found somebody that you want to have a play with, you just talk about it. Say, hey, these are the 10 songs that I kind of know. Do you know any of those? And then see if you can get it down to maybe 3 to 5 songs maximum that you're going to pick to have a play for that first time. You don't want to be putting too much pressure on yourself, and you want to have time to work on those tunes before you meet up. Make sure that you're confident with the rhythm, that you remember the chord changes. You might want to try some of these other ideas that I'm going to talk about in a sec, to do with how you might play the song and different ways to play the song. But deciding that repertoire or the songs that you want to work on in advance is a real game changer. If you don't do that, it's probably going to be a bit awkward and you'll end up playing each other little bits of songs rather than playing together a song. Okay, it gives them a chance to learn stuff. It gives you a chance to learn stuff. I think it's one of the most important things. Sure, as you get better, like if I meet someone for a jam, I'm not going to talk about preparing it really. I might do if we're going to do something specific, but much more likely I'd just play. And the more you jam, the more you'll be kind of comfortable with that sort of situation. But to start off with, you definitely want to keep things nice and safe and secure and work on songs that you know. If it goes really well, you might end up doing more songs, stuff that you don't know and getting into that. But I wouldn't count on it on the very first one. So one of the biggest mistakes that beginners make when they first try and jam together is that they try and play the same thing at the same time. And it's really easy for that to sound kind of lumpy and weird. If you're not strumming exactly together, it's just going to sound a little bit wonky. If you don't get the chord changes exactly right, if somebody's playing a little bit ahead and somebody's playing a little bit behind, it just feels lumpy and weird. So one of the things that you definitely want to think about in that early stage is, what am I going to play? And have I got an alternative thing I can play if they want to play the thing that I'm doing? So let's say you're playing Knocking on Heaven's Door and you've got G, D and C chords. And you're like, well, I can play that. And this is the strumming pattern that I usually do. But if you meet up with them and you're going to play the same thing and they play very much like you, you're soon going to feel like, oh yeah, this isn't really working. What can we do? So you need to kind of figure out or think about having two different parts. If you've been following along my course and you're familiar with how to use the major scale and the minor pentatonic scale, that would be the easiest division. One person's playing the chords, the other person takes a solo, you go around a few times through the song, then or through the chord progression, and then you swap over. That's an obvious and quite a fun way and a standard way of having a jam would be one person's taking a rhythm part, one's doing a lead. But if you're not feeling super confident in busting into a lead solo with somebody you first met, you need to think about other ways of approaching the rhythm part. The first thing to do would be to be changing up the rhythm patterns that you're playing. So you could just go simple and do one strum on each chord change while the other person plays a busy pattern. That would already sound better than both of you trying to play the same pattern at the same time. So that would be one option. Another really great option is to explore using a capo. So if somebody's playing a G chord, an open G chord, you can also play a G chord by, say, putting a capo at the 7th fret and playing a C chord. That still sounds like a G. Okay, so if you can work out in advance how to play some of the songs that you've chosen with a capo, so in another position, you're still playing the same chords a different way, that sounds absolutely lovely. Even if you're doing the same strumming pattern, it sounds really cool. If you can arpeggiate one of the chords, okay, so one person's doing the strumming, the other person's picking out random notes from the chord, that'll sound wicked. Particularly if you've got acoustic guitar and electric guitar. Acoustic guitar does the strumming, electric guitar does even the same chords and just picks out the notes one at a time. That can sound really lovely. The thing that you want to avoid is trying to do the same thing at the same time. What variation you choose doesn't really matter. One thing that'll have a big impact on that is the ability of the person that you're jamming with. Playing with somebody who's not as good as you, somebody the same as you, or somebody way better, all have great things going for them. If you're jamming with somebody who's not as good as you, it's possible that you'll spend a little bit more time taking solos, but you should also be trying to help them as much as you can, because one of the best ways to learn stuff is to teach it. Because if you're going to explain something to somebody else, you have to really understand it first. So if you're jamming with somebody who's not as good, spend some time helping them with the rhythm, helping them with the chord changes, helping them learn to do a solo. Whatever it is that they're not going so great with, don't be afraid to help them. You don't want to come across as a smarty pants and like, oh, I'm so good. But if they're struggling with something and they're receptive to it, then by all means try and help them out a bit, because you'll get better for it in the process. So teaching is a great way of learning as well. If you're at about the same level as somebody else and you're having a jam, you're going to learn a lot too, because everybody excels at some things more than others. So you might find they're really good at chord changes and you're really good at soloing, and you'll be able to share ideas on an equal platform. So it's not like somebody's showing everything and the other person's receiving everything. You should be pairing it off. Like, hey man, that lick that you did in that solo was really cool. How'd you do that? Oh, you did a great one as well. What was that one? This kind of conversation should be a common thing. It doesn't have to be formal, like you start playing the song and you all panicked and doing, we play music. It's play. It's fun. It's something to be enjoyed. We don't work the guitar. Okay, so try and make sure that it's a kind of a fluid, nice, fun environment when you're having a jam, and that you can stop and ask for advice or swap ideas, try out different things. If something's not working, stop and go, oh man, that's not working so good, is it? What can we do to fix that? Okay, that's a great thing about being roughly on an equal footing. I think the best one, and the thing I always tried to do when I was growing up, was with playing with people that were a lot better than me. It does lift your game. If you're playing with people that are better than you and you're used to playing really solid time with somebody who's really locked in, it'll make your time better. If they can solo and do stuff and you can go, wow, what was that? And they can help you out, that's great as well. It can be a bit frustrating if you're like super good and you're playing with a complete beginner. That's probably like a too big a disparity there, but even still, I enjoy jamming with beginners all of the time because it gives me a chance to explore some fun stuff. While they're enjoying playing simple chords and getting the groove on, I can explore other chord shapes or little solos or incorporating lead and rhythm and those kind of ideas. So the point of all this is that it doesn't really matter who you jam with as long as you're jamming. You're going to get benefit whether you're playing with real beginners, people equal to you, people much better than you. There is so much to learn in this game. It's a never-ending story, and the more jamming you can do and the more experiencing real music with real people, the better you'll be. I promise it's going to be a game changer. If you've never done it before, it's the one thing that really accelerates your playing like no other. One thing to mention that I kind of wish I didn't have to, but it's make sure you share the solos. Even if you're the guy that's really good and you're playing with a beginner, make sure you chill out, play some chords and give them a go at taking a solo. The standard kind of thing, if you're jamming a blues with someone, would be you do between 3 and 4 choruses of a solo and then you swap. If you meet with somebody and they're playing the chords and you take a solo for ages and ages and then you don't give them a solo, go, oh, it's time to go, you know, that's not cool. I've had a couple in my, I don't know, 30 whatever years I've been playing guitar. That's happened a couple of times. I've had people over for a jam and they've just done loads of soloing while I've been playing chords and then stopped and gone, oh, let's get a beer. It's like, it doesn't work like that. Those people never came back. You know, you want it to be a sharing thing. You want it give and take, yin and yang. It's got to be an equal thing here. No matter if there's a disparity in the levels there, you want to be sharing the fun soloing stuff. Now, I must admit, personally, I enjoy the rhythm just as much as the soloing. I find it just as creative and fun to explore rhythms and really working on the groove and trying to play a simple thing really well. But particularly in the late beginner, early intermediate thing, soloing is definitely the cherry there. So you want to be sharing that stuff. It's really important. One other thing that can be really fun I want to mention before I go is checking out set to guitar arrangements. Now, if it's something that you want to explore, again, Google is your friend. There are lots of 2 guitar arrangements around that you'll find where one guitar will play this and another guitar will play that. Again, you agree it in advance, you learn your parts separately, and then you practice together. Ideally, you learn both parts and then you swap playing both parts together. There is plenty of stuff around even for very early beginner stages, mostly single note sort of stuff, more than like strumming and solo arrangements, but lots of Christmas carols and that kind of stuff come up like that. But it can be a really great way to work on your duet playing, and this idea of playing with another person is having a set arrangement. It can take some of the pressure off if you're not that into improvising, and it gives both people something to work on to study between meetings. So that's definitely something you want to check out. I would absolutely love to see some videos of you guys jamming, and I'm happy to offer some feedback if you want it. There's a few ways to get my attention. The best way, if you're over on the website, would be to leave a link to a video of you playing in the comments on this webpage, and I will do my best to go and check it out and give you some feedback. If you happen to be over on YouTube, you could let me know using the hashtag JustinGuitar, or if you're on social media, you can use my Instagram handle at JustinGuitar. Let me know on one of those and I'll do my best to go and check it out. Of course, if it ends up being hundreds or thousands of people doing that, I might not have time to do it, but I'll check out as many as I can. I really hope that this video encourages you to go and find somebody to have a jam with, and I'll see you for plenty more very soon. You'll take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.